Hi all, I want to welcome you to your Fall 2022 Stat 2 online course. I'm Dr. Lori Austin and I will be your professor for this semester. I've been at RVCC teaching mathematics for about 15 years now, and I currently serve as chair of the Math and Computer Science Department. Prior to coming to RVCC, I did teach high school for about 10 years. My undergrad degree is in mathematical statistics, and I got that from the College of New Jersey. It was called Trenton State way back when, but you know it as the College of New Jersey. And then I got a degree in math education and a degree in higher ed leadership from Rowan University. So I look forward to spending this time with you. I absolutely love statistics. I love teaching statistics. I love the idea how statistics can allow us to use information from the past to predict our future, and specifically using information from really small samples to make predictions about a larger population. And that is the essential element of what we're going to be doing in this course. At the end of Stat 1, you ended with a section of what we call inferential statistics. You started with descriptive statistics, where you used all the information about a population to calculate means and standard deviations and stuff like that. Then you got into a little bit of probability theory and sampling theory. Then you ended with confidence intervals and hypothesis testing. That is the base of inferential statistics, which means, again, we're taking information from these small samples to determine if these samples themselves provide sufficient evidence for us to draw conclusions about entire population. So that whole idea is what we're going to work on throughout this whole course. We will start, don't worry, reviewing what you learned at the end of Stat 1. We will start with those confidence intervals and hypothesis test for one population using a mean. But from there, we're going to progress. We're going to get past it. Populations can be looked at beyond their mean. We will look at proportions data. We'll look at more than one population and compare means of various populations, of one or even more as we get into analysis of variance tests. Multiple populations we can look at. We'll look at some qualitative data through our chi-square, where we determine how much what is expected actually matches what we observe. And then we will end with some linear regression, which will bring you back a little bit to those y equals mx plus b days where you learned basic linear equations. But that's where it also gets a lot of fun, where we can really start to make those predictions about the future, like how much does the number of years in education really impact your income and stuff like that. So I think you're going to enjoy it. I hope I put together a clear, kind of easy to follow course with enough information for you to learn everything. And I so look forward to working with you this fall. At this time, I'm going to turn the camera to the course so I can kind of show you around it. All right, so right now I have myself in student view so we can kind of see exactly what you see. When you get into and click on the course, it takes you to the home screen. And all the home screen really does is provide you with information of what these tabs will give you. Probably the most important tab for learning is the modules tab, and that tab we'll go to in a second, and that'll bring you to your weekly guide of notes, assignments, discussions, and everything else. But then probably the second most important to you is your grade book. Under grades, you will have an updated grade book. You'll always know exactly how you're doing in this course. Now, announcements. Announcements are really important because that is how I am going to communicate on a weekly basis. I will always be sending announcements. I believe you get a little number that appears here if there's an announcement that you haven't seen yet. So when you first get into Canvas, you're going to get used to clicking on those announcements. Announcements that were sent will stay saved. So if I'll send information like, hey, your test is coming up next week. Here's the key stuff you need to pay attention to. If I'm sending you something that is so important, such as a date change, and I need to make sure you read it, I will ask you to reply to that announcement just saying, yep, I got it. But other than that, you can reply questions to any announcement. it may take me a couple days to get back to it. So if you have a more immediate question, the best thing is, of course, the Canvas inbox and to email that to me. Syllabus kind of takes you through. This is not our syllabus. This is just Canvas's syllabus. It kind of takes you down. It takes all the assignments according to date. But this can be very misleading because I have all the homework's final due date of the day of the exam. So the syllabus, I don't think this will really help you too much. It will lead you with this false sense that nothing is due yet, and that is certainly not true. Okay, so this is saying, oh, all of this homework isn't due till September 26th. Well, that is true, but you should be doing a lot of it right away. Okay, and we'll get to my lab in a minute. So let's go to modules. Like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to give you a quick start. So if the Brightware course material, that is a quick way to get our course material. I would only use that if, say, you're on financial aid and you must buy it through the bookstore. I believe buying it directly through Pearson saves you a few dollars. So I'll leave that entirely up to you. I just want to give you all the options. If you are on financial aid and that they are covering the cost of your books, then yes, you must buy everything through the bookstore. Okay, our syllabus. See this thing right here? This is our syllabus. This is what you need to read every word of. This is our contract for the course. You need to follow it, and I need to follow it. So please take a look at that. It has my information. I don't really ever answer that telephone, but feel free to use it if you must. I would definitely. There's the Outlook email, but again, please try to email me for information for this course only through Canvas. As I had stated, I am currently the Math Computer Science Department Chair, so I get hundreds of emails, and I don't want yours lost in my Outlook, so I would use Canvas and not necessarily that email. I do have in-person office hours, so if you happen to be around and you want to come by campus from 11 to 1 on Tuesday and Thursday, feel free to stop in West 318 and come see me. If there's any point where I can't be in my office during office hours, I will post an announcement and let you know. I will also allow you can email me and we can set up a time virtually if you'd like to meet on a time that is works for both of us. Okay, material. So we talked about the material. What you need at the very, very least is really just this that I have highlighted here in purple. You need the 18-week access for this course. All right. It's really easy to get. I'll show you when we pop out of here the instructions you can follow to get that. It will give you lots of information. Number one, it gives you access to all our homework, so you have to buy it. It gives you the full textbook digital version. It gives you supplementary videos beyond the ones I made for the course. But most importantly, you're going to learn to use some statistical software, and it provides you with access to software called StatCrunch. You will not use StatCrunch on exams. The problems I give you can be all done with a basic scientific calculator. Graphing calculators are nice, but not necessary. The software is not to be used on exams, but with some of the homework problems and some of the case studies, we will use larger amounts of data, and you're going to want to really learn how to use the statistical software. This way, if you take any other stat course when you move on to your four-year institution, you'll be familiar with statistical software because they all kind of work the same. All right, let's keep going. Like I said, scientific is fine. Graphing is nice. There are statistical functions that can be used, but it's not necessary. All right, and again, we will be using StatCrunch. We do have access to Minitab on campus, but StatCrunch is what we use in this course. Okay, so you can even see right now, confidence intervals for one population, hypothesis tests for one population. That is stuff you did cover in Stat 1. It's at the very end. You don't need to worry so much about delayed openings, as we will not be using the testing center this semester, and I'll get to that in 1 second. Okay. Please don't cheat yourself out of learning. Make sure the work that you do in this course is indeed your work. All right. So that My Stat Lab homework will be worth 10%. The forum questions, I'll go over those in a minute. They'll be worth 5%. Quizzes are only worth 5%. They're just to help you start practicing for the test. The case studies, there are 2 of them, so they will combine to 10%. We will have 3 unit exams. They will be average out to 40%. And of course, our final exam is 30%. So again, we already talked about the homework. That'll be done in My Stat Lab. You will also have quizzes in My Stat Lab. So homework problems, here's the big difference. Homework problems, you can do them over and over and over and over until you get 100%. Doesn't matter. They'll just give you a new problem and you work on that till you get 100%. Quizzes are different. You do each problem once, you turn it in, you hit submit, you get your grade, done. So it puts a little pressure for you to practice for the test so you have less test anxiety. And it's, you know, minimal. It's only 5% of your grade, and I believe I dropped the lowest 3. So it's kind of a minimal way for you to practice and alleviate some of that test anxiety. Forums. We'll go over forums in a minute, but they are basically questions. That showed me you actually opened up that digital textbook and read. Yes, I know this is a math course, but this is statistics. It's a little different from other courses. You will need to read the chapters. Okay, so good news. You do not need to go to the testing center this semester. We are actually going to use an online proctoring service called HonorLock for our exams, for most of our exams, not quite all of them, but I will use basic Canvas surveillance for the other exams. Please understand, none of these systems will require you to scan your room. We do not want to invade your privacy in any way. I will not do that. The basic Canvas surveillance pretty much just lets me know when you left the Canvas website. And you're taking a test, you should not be leaving the Canvas website. Okay? And of course, HonorLock will be a little bit more rigid, but again, we are not invading your privacy or using any scanning of your rooms. What this does is it allows you to take your exams over a multi-day period any hour of the day. You want to take them 12 midnight, you can take them 12 midnight. Okay? No need to come to the testing center. Same for the final exam. You can continue to read this. Please do so. If you have an accommodation, you must get me that letter ASAP, not the day before an exam. Remember that. It has to be done now. And of course, if you are any violations of academic integrity will be sent directly to the dean. This one's pretty important. Apple users, Mac users, I cannot open HEIC files. I've tried. I can't do it. Turn it into a PDF for me. That's all I need. Turn it into a PDF. The other thing I want you to practice doing, learn how to upload multiple pages as one document. It is incredibly difficult. If I get 6 pages where I have to, as each 6 individual files, it makes it way too hard to grade. So we'll do a little practice. You can, there's Scan Genie stuff on like telephones and stuff like that. If you don't have a scanner, there are ways you can take multiple pictures and upload it as one document. So please look that up. That's your work. Look it up, figure it out. Figure out how to scan it. Please save things. I could do JPEG, I could do PDF, I can even do a Word doc. Worst case scenario, open up Word and put in all your pictures in one Word doc. I've had students do that. But at this stage, you should be able to figure out how to take multiple pages and upload it as one single file. Thank you. Okay. Then you will probably want to print the rest of this out. This is your schedule. It will match the modules that I'm going to show you in a minute. And I put in everything we're going to do, everything that's due, I don't know that I have the I don't have the discussions on here. No, I don't. I just noticed that. So there are discussions for each chapter as well, and I'll show you the modules. So let's go take a look at our modules. Let's finish this up. All right, finishing under course information. Information on my stat lab, the testing center, and the academic support center. So you can kind of take a look at that. We are not using the testing center this semester. You don't need to worry about that. The academic support center is entirely up to you. It is our tutoring center. This is the link you will use if we have an appointment set up. Please don't go on there. I don't sit on there 24/7. All right, only if we have an appointment. Follow these directions to log on to my stat lab. See this formula card? Print it. It's long, and we will be using most of it. That is what you're allowed to have in front of you for every single test. You want instructions on how to find p-values on your calculator. Please look at the p-value using TI-84. That's for a graphing calculator. There are going to be some times your formula card doesn't give exact values. It can give you a range of values. And on test, I am perfectly acceptable with a range. In other words, you would say something along the lines of P is greater than 0.01 but less than 0.05. That's a range. That tells me your p-value is between 0.01 and 0.05. You can make a determination when you compare it to alpha whether to reject or not reject. But in MATLAB, at times, you do need to find exact p-values. Go ahead and click on this p-value calculator to do that. All right, so here's how our weeks are set up. First thing, I did put week 1 and week 2 together to give you a little bit of time to learn the course. So nothing is actually due this Monday night. Our courses run Tuesday to Monday. You don't have anything due Monday night. Everything's due the following Monday night. Please introduce yourself. So here's what happens. These videos in blue are links to my YouTube videos. So the first video will be about confidence intervals when sigma is known. Then you've got some notes about it. You have practice homework. 8.2 falls under here as well. Notes, practice homework. And then we have a new video. This is when sigma is unknown. That'll cover 8.3. Then you go to the forum, forum 8.1 to 8.3. If you watched the videos and read all the notes, you may be able to answer the forum. If not, if you still can't find the answer, you open your textbook and you skim through 8.1 to 8.3. You will be able to answer the questions. Most of the time, they are not mathematical questions. Most of the time, they are just asking you for stuff. You cannot see everyone else's answers until you post your own, okay? I will give a general kind of response at the end of the week after they're all due. So the purpose of those forums are to ensure that I know you read through the chapter, all right? And then it continues in the same fashion, a video, notes, and homework related to the video. And then, of course, a quiz. After you do everything else, you've got a quiz. So all you really need to do is kind of follow through. So those first 2 weeks are kind of long. And follow through. Keep on going. You can ask me questions. In MATLAB, you can ask my instructor. I will get back to you within 2 days. Probably sooner, but just in case. All right, and keep popping. Notice this, I even have an additional video that's kind of a hard topic. It's your first new thing you'll see, and it's not the easiest. All right, it keeps going on, and then you start to see information about case study. 2 case studies. One of them is due mid-semester. The other is due at the end of the semester. Okay, and we'll talk about those at another time, and you can read the information on them. All right, so here we go. After 10.5, there is a review. And then there is the test. Do not open the test until you are ready to actually take it. You can open it. I think it just takes you Yeah, this quiz is locked until 9:28, so you can't open it. Well, that's good. And I'll talk more about the test when we get to test time. That's essentially what you're going to do. So please take the time to review everything in the syllabus. And I look forward to a great semester.